Hello and welcome to this review of the HBO series, The Last of Us. In this episode, we get a flashback to Ellie's past, which leads to yet another beautiful hour of the show. Left Behind is an episode that fans have been eagerly anticipating since the show was announced, and it doesn't disappoint. From the show's announcement, fans have been anxiously awaiting the episode of The Last of Us titled Left Behind. While the video game's flashback to Ellie and Riley was published as supplemental material in 2014, it is often regarded as being crucial to the main story of the game since it offers moving insight into Ellie's history, which gives her relationship with Joel more nuance. Although certain scenes are left out and others are included, the show mostly keeps faithful to the game and incorporates Ellie's past into the main plot. The flashback begins with one of the new sequences, in which Ellie, a FEDRA trainee, gets into trouble and is urged by Officer Kwong to straighten up so that she can one day become an officer rather than a low-level grunt for the remainder of her military career. While Ellie and the officer's conversation about the fork in the road of life isn't particularly interesting on its own, it does inform what happens later in the episode by emphasizing that Ellie has a future she's working towards. Riley follows these ideas with the Fireflies, too, as we later learn. We hear them talk about their plans to help us picture each of their prospective futures so that when they are taken away, the full force of the sorrow is felt. Before discussing how wonderfully Ellie and Riley's final night together plays out, it is important to note that Ramsey and Storm Reid's performances in this role had to be flawless, which they are. Everything in this episode exudes intimacy and affection, from the discourse to the body language to the complimentary camera work. The whole thing would come apart if they didn't make us believe they are in love every moment we saw them together. Every contact between Ellie and Riley is intense, whether they are bonding over a stupid joke or sparring over the Fireflies' dubious freedom-fighting principles. By the time they reach the kissing scene, they have more than earned it. Excellent performance from the two young actors. It's really a little disappointing that we won't get to see them interact on screen more frequently. The episode's presentation, which can only be described as exquisite, is among its most amazing features. The mall's warm, saturated neon lights are both incredibly fake and quite charming. Malls are about as dull and uninspiring as surroundings get in the real world of 2023. Yet unlike everything else we've seen on the program up to this point, Ellie and Riley's mall is a vibrant display of colors, lights, and noises. Ellie not smiling the way she does when she's with Riley is another thing we haven't seen on the show. Seeing Ellie shine in love and having the time of her life, but yet knowing in the back of our minds that she could never experience this kind of happiness again is one of the episode's hidden emotional undertones. The episode's excellent music selections are largely responsible for its strength. Ellie's lonely existence at FEDRA is soundtracked by Pearl Jam's frantic, melancholy All or None. And as she fools about on an escalator for the first time, A Take Hawes on Me conjures up memories of the 1980s. It's a gorgeous mixtape of songs that deftly ties the plot together in tidy little knots, from a tear-jerkingly emotional music box rendition of The Cure's Just Like Heaven playing on the carousel to the girls dancing the night away to Etta James' version of I Got You Bae. The carousel scene, the Halloween shop, and the arcade showdown are just a few instances where Left Behind uncannily resembles the game. Although these scenes were taken directly from the original work, Ramsey in particular elevates them in this instance. Ellie is clearly infatuated with Riley, and each of these scenes is evidenced by the way her eyes linger on Riley. Subtleties like these are much more apparent on the show. Even their final moments together, which are markedly less violent than the scene from the video game, have a more subdued feel that is consistent with the personal nature of the rest of the narrative. The format in which the Ballad of Ellie and Riley is told is arguably the most significant change made by the show. The game switches between Riley's mall and Ellie's current location as she looks for medical supplies for Joel in a much less cheery, infected mall. The Riley flashback is bookended by Ellie tending to an injured Joel in the present, so the show doesn't jump back and forth nearly as much. Both storylines have advantages, but what I like about the show is how the 2023 events are brief, straightforward, and poetic. Ellie deciding to fight for Joel's life in the same way that he is willing to fight for her demonstrates that she is prepared to risk her life in order to save Joel's. Furthermore, she didn't stitch him up with a needle and thread just to make us cringe. It serves as a symbol of Ellie's dedication to helping others and, in Tessa's words, saving the ones she can save. Even though Joel has given up on himself, she won't give up on him because she was unable to save Riley. Overall, Left Behind is a fantastic episode of The Last of Us that gives us stirring insight into Ellie's past and lends depth to her relationship with Joel. It's a beautiful and emotional journey that showcases some incredible performances from Ramsey and Storm Reid. If you're a fan of the game or the show, you won't want to miss this one, so I hope you enjoy it. Please support the channel if you enjoy the review.